Hello everyone, I'm Oracle Unicorn and welcome to Shaman Messes. Please keep in mind this is a general reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Put some things in your back pocket, you never know, you might need it for later. And be sure to check your moon, rising, and Venus signs as my videos do cross-connect with each other. And so yeah, I do not own this music. I like having music in the background. It helps keep the energy flowing. I hear it actually kind of like makes it harder to like, I don't know, get sponsored in for when it comes to videos and stuff, but whatever. Whatever helps with the readings, you know? Whatever, right? Okay, so Capricorns. This is, yeah, Capricorn. Timeless reading. I did say weekly, didn't I? Yeah, no, it's timeless. Even though I do this weekly. Okay, Liliana, you have to move. Move. And you said no. I'll put the cards on you then. Oh, you'll move once I start shuffling. Capricorn. The deck should I use for Capricorn. Capricorn. It's calling out. Under my skin. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Mother, I feel you. Under my skin. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Yeah, hey, 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 oh. Yeah, hey, 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 oh. Mother, I hear you in the river song. Eternal what is growing on and on. Mother, I hear you in the river song. What is going on and on? Yeah, yeah, hey, 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 oh. Yeah, yeah, hey, hey, oh. Father, I see you in the eagle's eyes. Light of the Spirit, go and hang on fire. Father, I see you in the eagle flies. Light of the Spirit, go and take your fire. Oh, hey, oh, hey, 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 oh. Oh, I finished my drawing. Guess I get to show Capricorns. I finished it! It's finally finished! And so pretty! I love it! That was so beautiful. So amazing. I finally finished it. Now I gotta take a picture of it, put it on my Facebook. Because I told everyone, actually technically my page, because I told everyone that I would show them because I'm not making copies of it because this was something that it was like a personally asked for type of drawing. And so I'm not making copies or prints of it. You have certainty of what kind of cautious actions to take. Of certain actions that you have to take caution with, and you're definitely stepping into using your wisdom about that. Ooh, damn. Involving some kind of trickster. But you're like perfecting how to use your caution with your wisdom and having certainty on how to be able to do so. So really good. Which is granting you a lot of endurance, especially when it comes to like going into your healing. You're really gaining a lot of insight because the fates are turning in your favor through a lot of this. giving you a lot of balance into a lot of grace, because this one is not beside it, it's actually underneath it. So I feel it's like really amplifying the endurance of you coming into your balance and being able to flow in your balance with a lot of grace, okay? And having total understanding of your directions that you see. And that is very emotionally fulfilling and what is kind of drive for you. But also, I see you have foresight through certain dry kind of like directions, because beside balance, which is interesting. Capricorn, this is so beautiful. You actually got both of these cards. These cards have never come out with each other. It's either one or it's the other. Well, this is very, very good that you are really being able to have a lot of certainty, a lot of clarity when it comes to the balance of your path through dryness, through richness, bringing in extreme, beautiful balance and grace through both of them, the balance of both of them, okay? And what wisdom it really brings you. And this foresight that you have about a lot of this and the foresight you have through this is very, very powerful. It's literally bringing you a lot of calmness, especially with having the foresight card right here. And literally, it's like you're coming into being able to read your wheel of fate in a way, okay? Being able to see what is dry, what has enrichment, for you, and you can see like the foresight into like your fates, an easier path that you can take that brings you to this certain kind of level, Capricorns, and then you have this other path that brings you into, yeah, it's a dryness, but it, with this laid out the way it is, having balance, it's almost like not just being able to see the balance in the two, but being able to be balanced in yourself through the dryness to get to the richness. Like you have a foresight of knowing when a path is going to be dry, but you know at the end it's going to be rich. Like it doesn't detour you. And I feel that's how you're being able to see the direction in the two, and how you know when to take more of a richer path in the beginning and when it's time to take more of a drier path and it's going to be more richer in the end, okay? And that's your genetic memory behind this. I feel as if you're really starting to be able to feel and read your soul contracts, okay? And it's like to everyone else, it's taking chances. It's like gambling life. To you, it's like, you know, it looks like a chance, but at the same time, you're so tapped into your heightened self and intuition. You're like, yeah, it looks like a gamble, but at the same time, it's not a gamble to me. I feel it. I have this knowing about it. And that's why you are able to stay in your calmness through it. And that's like, because you know how to read the fates for some weird reason. You just know how to read it or have this insight knowing of it. And it's very interesting how I'm able to read this. And because with also having 4 sets of Capricorn in my chart, I see a lot of this too. And it's interesting because I'm at this kind of figuring out of a level, and I know I'm not the only one that can really read stuff like this. So especially with card readers, it helps them to be able to, within themselves and their own life, figure out how to shift and read their own energy field and how to understand their own intuition. Well, one of the things that I looked up, because owl is has always been like has been in my dreams. It's always been a significant kind of animal to me. It's always been a messenger to me. And I found out that it's like my soul totem because of how pronounced it is. It's my life soul totem. And so, with it being my life soul totem, the significance behind an owl is clairaudience, because it's the horned owl. And this literally started because the fact that I ended up finding feathers at a house I was cleaning, and instead of because we were having to clean it out and throw it away. So I was like, shit, these feathers are mine. And I ended up sticking into like a Buddhist book because I was like, oh, this Buddhist book will be cool. I like taking different views and perspectives and kind of applying certain things that's uplifting to myself, no matter what it is. Like, I like the morality of Christianity, but I don't really follow into the structural ways of Christianity, obviously, because I like to be pagan. Yeah, exactly. Like to be kind of like pagan-like. So anyway, and I was like, okay, well, I thought at first they were hawk feathers. And I knew in my intuition at the time that they weren't, that they actually might be owl. But they're a very different kind of owl feather. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to keep this quiet and just keep saying it's a hawk feather, because I didn't want that my boss to like want to take them from me or anything. So I was just like, oh, they're hawk feathers, And then I finally yesterday, and this was like a few weeks ago when I did this. So finally yesterday, I decided to look it up, and I was like, okay, they are owl feathers. My intuition was right about them. They're not just owl feathers. They are the great horned owl feathers. I was like, holy cow, I was like, that is phenomenal. So I looked up the spiritual message behind the great horned owl. And it started literally talking about how somehow I ended up on this website where it was talking about different levels of a spiritual connection you have with a specific animal, and how it like really coincides with your life path, your life journey, what it's teaching you, why it's your totem. So I was like, well, this is good. I was like, that's amazing. All right. So I was like, okay, so let's get more into this. I already know, obviously, it's not just a totem animal for me. It was definitely a soul animal for me, especially with always having dreams of it, especially with it always showing up in my life. When I was a white tiger fanatic, I would always see white tigers. I ended up shifting into a lot of owls because I went left-hand path kind of oriented. And the owl is a representation of the goddess, especially Lilith. Lilith was my kind of like my gateway goddess to kind of like step into the magical path. So owls became a very big significance in my life. I followed the owl. I kind of like became like the owl within my heart. I really like felt for that goddess, and really expanded out my knowledge more, branched off of that, went into higher aspects. But that was my gate. So I always call her my gate goddess. I always have like love for her. I always give her like honoring in a sense. And I always seen her as kind of like an owl figure. When my grandmother died, and she actually died 8 days before my birthday, or not 8 days, she died on the 8th, February 8th, and right before I turned 28. So she died 02/8 last year, so 2019. And and that year I was turning 28. So I thought that was a very high significance to me. So I ended up with a 2/8 on my, what are you doing? 2/8 on my birthday, on my cake. So I actually kept that to in a significance of a connection between me and my grandmother. And she was an Aquarius too. She was more of a Capricorn Aquarius, which is closer to the Capricorns. I'm more of like a Pisces Aquarius, which is I'm closer to the Pisces. They have very different personalities from what I've really noticed. Capricorn Aquariuses are way more logical. Um, Aquariuses as Pisces are way more emotional, way more tapped in with the heart. So they have very different significances. Well, when she died, I went to a room that it was like the spiritual room or something like that. It wasn't even like Christianized. It was really cool because it wasn't Christianized. It wasn't like, the back wall literally had a painting of a forest with a string through it. I was like, I fell in love. I literally fell in love. And I literally just started releasing to my grandmother a lot of things I had on my heart. One of the biggest significance when it comes to like really healing. And I did it with her after she passed. And then I looked over and on the table, there were literally 3 owls. So then it became a even more significance of an ancestral spirit animal for me. And so it became really big. Even though I'm unicorn, I do a lot of things when it comes to unicorns, and I love being like the aspect of a unicorn. That the owl is like the biggest like messenger of my soul path. Um, I have an owl bell, which is a representation of the goddess, the calling out, chiming in, the spirits and stuff like that, the spirit helpers. And I gave my son, I found, or actually I was at Walmart. I was trying to get a blanket and I was going to get a wolf blanket because that's all I saw. And then my ex-husband actually pulled out an owl one and was like, "Hey, look at this." And I was, well, he's deaf, so he just kind of signed it. He goes like, "Ah," and I was like, "Oh, that's fucking great." Um, and I ended up giving it to my son before I left. One of the times that I came to visit and stay with my son, and I gave it to him. To him, it's a significance of me. So how it cycled in such a way was very beautiful. Now, the great horned owl is more of a significance of clairaudience. Now, I thought clairaudient was like hearing, like almost kind of like schizophrenic level. And I actually used to be very, what do you call it? Very, I wouldn't say jealous, but like admired, like kind of wish I had, but knowing the kind of consequences that how crazy it kind of drives these people because they hear so much of it, some of the even the lesser spirits and stuff like that. So I've met someone that is who's actually a Scorpio. um so it was like it's very interesting because it's so heavy and tormenting on them. They literally like take medicine for it to kind of subside it, get it away. So I wasn't jealous about it because I knew the difficulties of it. But at the same time, it was like, wow, I kind of wish I had that. And as I was reading further, it said the clairaudience isn't literally hearing it. It's literally being so in tuned with your intuition, with the vibration of the spirits, the kind of like essence of life. That is a sense of clairaudience. It is what you're listening to. It's like that's how they fully explained it, and it hit home to me. I was like, wow. And they're like, the only reason that these people who has that kind of life path is because of the fact that they have to go through literally accepting themselves for who they are and the way they are and loving them to their full complete self. So that blew my mind away. And that's literally what this is pulling. And I find that very interesting because if it wasn't for the fact I give myself breaks over the weekend through a lot of things and just kind of listen to my intuition, bring myself into a sense of like by myself, kind of isolation, tune in with myself a lot. Um, they say that that's also one of the connections when it comes to like following in that life, that path with the owl, with the great horn owl, because they have the huge ears, so that's what makes them a symbolization of clairaudience. And it's interesting because it was like to a point I knew I had it, but it wasn't like I can legitimately hear it. It's like I hear it in my heart, I hear it in my intuition, and I hear the words. And it's almost like I kind of like, as I speak them, I know that's what's right. I know that's what's wanting to be said. And they said that's exactly how it is. And those that start off with it when they're younger, really tap into it when they're younger, um, have an easier path in life, but those that come into it later on in life literally have a rougher time because it's like now you're being shifted into that path. It's a completely life altering shift. Instead of slowly progressing into it, you're on this path, but then you get slammed into something else. And that's literally what happened to me because I wasn't bipolar, manic depressive bipolar, like whatever, until like around 22, 24. I was literally able to be stable with myself. I was literally able to keep a job. I was literally able to do a lot of this and it not bother me and not end up in tears for literally no reason. And well, now I know there's it's because it's not what my heart really wants. It's not my calling. And that's why I know now. But once that slammed over, it was almost like someone took me out of like the comfortability of my life in a society way and just dropped me into a whole new world that I did not even know how to copes with. I did not know what to do with myself. I felt as if like I was doing everything wrong. I couldn't do anything right. I was always a problem. Like it and it was the hardest way to have some kind of self-acceptance. You're so funny. It was the hardest way to have some kind of self-acceptance, and that's literally the path I was slammed into, was how to understand how to have self-acceptance with the way you are and how you became and who you are and who you're meant to be. So it took a lot of freaking work. A lot of work. So just to give you a rough around, literally kind of long explanation as to what this is talking about. Having the foresight to see and know, and learning from your experiences, learning from your intuition, your heart, falling within your heart, having calmness through it with acceptance of yourself, because you have to come to that acceptance to be able to acquire this calmness. Okay. And that's one of the hardest things, is how do you accept yourself with the way you are when everyone in around you in your life is literally pounding on you that like you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this, or you're not going to like survive. And it's like, oh, I totally get that, which is why it's like I ended up going homeless, because if I'm already going to end up this way, might as well go ahead and push it on and figure it out from there, because it's I was just like, oh man, I was going like nuts. I literally started doing a book about it because of the fact of how like crazy I literally just like threw myself into just to force myself to freaking get it. Like, it's literally throwing the dice and taking a chance. And now I have already experienced and gone through and grew from that and am more from that. So now I know in myself it's not going to be that way. But I loved the experience because of the fact I got to know why and who ended up on the streets, why they're on the streets, especially when it comes to specific people, when it comes to mental disorders or people who doesn't have enough to really sustain themselves because they're on SSI, because they have a hard time getting job, so it's keeping a job, or like stuff like that. The alcohols, the veterans that I've met, I adore it. I like the fact that I did it. I like the fact that I went through that because it gave me a lot of inspirational ideas about when I do get to my peak of being able to create more than what I have right now, what I can create right now. Because I do want to create certain organizations that literally works to help these people when it comes to their own emotional well-being, what works best for them, instead of them having to go to these people and these people telling them what they have to do according to what they were taught to tell them to have to do to be able to live, to get off the street. More than half the time with this, they end up back on the street because it doesn't work with them. What are you doing? Okay. Ow, that hurt. Okay. So now I know. And I'm happy for it. And so it's like everything I know now, every little thing I've went through has helped me to be able to have a level of understanding and confidence in myself of what I am as kind of like a humanitarian and really wanting to bring something big, make some kind of huge difference when it comes to living life. I don't believe that just because you're an alcoholic, that's all you deserve is to live on the streets and just drink yourself to death. I just really don't believe that. I don't believe that's what they deserve, you know? I believe that there is some kind of psychological way to be able to help them kind of like allow themselves to get out of that way of thinking, because what society has forced them to do is to believe that that is all that is out there, that is all that, you know, they are capable of doing, because no one's helping them to actually rise up in their own like heart. You know, they're like, do this, do this, do this. You have to not do this, not do that. And you have to do this just to get off the street. And they're like, I'd much rather be on the street. Yeah, like, okay, so back, we'll pull some more cards. Are you done? Are you done? Okay. Like, I have all my cards in a pile here because she just went under the covers. Like, I've never seen her do this. She just went under the covers and I don't even know. I guess she was all about this energy. So, I don't even, okay, I do remember. This down here. Yes, I am listening. That is not I want that though. Okay, so calmness was down here. Endurance was over here. Chance was over there. Calmness. Direction. That was there. That is there. Okay. Certainty overall. That. No. We are stopping that right now. Okay. When I was talking, that was all cute. All right, but no. I'm trying to lay out some more cards here, Liliana. You silly little thing. Okay, there we go. All right, I get that back in order. Let's see. What other deck you want to call out? Please control, surrender to the flow that will heal me. Release control, surrender to the flow of love that will heal me. Control and surrender to the flow of love that will heal me. The story shifted. They want to let you know about some kind of love situation. It's almost like it's literally a hidden energy to you. But because of the healing you've been going through, it's foresighting in your third eye a unity, a coming together, clear sight, and being able to see. I see this as the other person. The other person is literally seeing this shift happen, this turn happen. They're watching it happen. And they're laughing. they're enjoying it. They're laughing. Their heart is filling up with like a sense of like beautiful, like lighthearted poetry. Like the feeling I get from this is like it's like you totally caught them off guard. The change they see in you, the light they see in you. It's like they're not saying anything. It's almost like they don't have full courage. I don't know that it's courage, because I think they have courage. I think it's like a subconscious like feeling as if they're not good enough because of how much you've really like accomplished real foresight. Like not no theatrical Hollywood foresight, like real true foresight. And they're caught off guard. They're like caught off guard. They're afraid of what you know, what you could say. They're afraid of like what may come out of your mouth that will hit them like a ton of bricks, because you've already hit them with a freaking ton of bricks. But they love it. Like it pushes them away a little bit, but at the same time, it draws them in more. And it's pulling them out of the own depths of their darkness. The darkness that's all around them, and literally helping them to see the illumination inside themselves that's happening, that's awakening. I feel as if, like, especially with this balance and spiritual connection, I feel as if it's like they want to see themselves as balanced too before they really like take a step forward towards it, because it's like they want to have that too, and they don't want to leech off of yours. They want to be their own unique essence of light, so that when y'all two do come together, it's not a emotional codependence, because I feel as if they're waking up to their sense of emotional codependence and how it kind of started off as that with you subconsciously. I don't think they purposely did that. It was actually subconsciously, and this is why they've completely like stepped completely away and back. Like they want to know, and it's like you're the essence of highest essence of a book, because I can't find no book about it. You are the book. And so they're kind of using you as a teacher to be of a level ground with you and have a sense of understanding about it. And they're in awe about you. Like they're just like this is how they see you. And it just baffles them. It literally makes them speechless. It's like they want to speak, but they're speechless on their words because they can't find the right words to literally describe what you do. Not just what you do for them, but what you do in general. Because they've never seen anyone tap in so heavy, so strong, and be so fucking accurate. Sorry for my language, but to be so freaking accurate literally was just like that made them freaking shitless scared. Okay, but they're nurturing the principle behind it. They're opening themselves within themselves to take that deep look, to shift into what it is you have naturally just walked into and naturally just slam doors open for. It was literally like, oh, okay, I shared this meme, and it's like this woman walks through these doors, and then she goes through, and this guy just kind of like both doors open, letting himself through, and then he does the second set and slams both doors open, and just shatter. Just shatter, like right next to him. And so it's like, that's exactly how I see, like, this person was like, all right, I'm opening these both doors, and everything shatters, and they're like, oh, shit. And the only thing they knew how to do is literally nurture themselves. No. Please close the door. No. Go. Please close the door. Thank you. And she of the crouch. And so they're taking the time to see that principality within them, to see how much of an essence, uniqueness of vibrancy that they are too. It's just opening your eyes enough to be able to see it and to look at yourself in a different light, in a perspective of how amazing you really are, no matter how dark or negative certain aspects of yourself really look or seem to other people. Because some people could say that I'm forceful, or that I give too much love, or that I'm too kind, that I'm too nice. And I'm like, that's like one of my best qualities about myself, though. You know how long it took me to really like stomach that? That I'm not too loving, I'm not too soft, I'm not too nice, that it's a beautiful silver flower. The most beautiful silver flower you could ever find. Better than gold, because gold is wanted. Gold is seen as beautiful. Silver is not seen as beautiful. But to some people, it's more beautiful than gold. Like to me, silver is way more precious to me than gold, especially sterling silver. And that's the shift. Like, from seeing how high gold is held in society, spiritually silver is higher. And technically that actually is true when it comes to the Fae spirits. Like, that's how I feel in my heart. I don't know. Some people, I think, has actually like said no, but but I feel in my own heart and spirituality, silver is actually spiritually more precious with the spirits of the Fae than gold is. Something about the properties, the metal and the properties of it. And to me, it's just, it was always seen as like not beautiful enough. And that's, I guess I always like subconsciously spiritually connected with that. Like, I wasn't enough. I wasn't good enough for this, or I wasn't good enough to, I wasn't good enough, or I was too much, and that's what makes me not good enough. I gave too much out, and that's what made me not good enough, you know? So, I feel as if that's the shift that's happening with this person. And it really bringing them to like seeing themselves that they don't have to be gold. It's okay that they're silver. It's okay if they want to be sterling silver. It's okay that they're not gold. If they were gold, they would not be as precious to themselves. I hope you can follow that analogy, because it's literally the best that I can really explain that. And that's giving you literally like freedom of expression, because you're I feel as if both of y'all are mirroring it, and that's bringing possibly a spontaneous action into something, especially with having this adventure card. Polishing of this skill, some of you, it's just really rooting this. It's like, okay, oh, I totally get that. Now I really see what it is I'm working and looking for in myself, is that I'm trying to be gold, and all I have to do is love the fact that I'm silver. There we go. I got that out there. Okay, cool. That was it. And seeing the good and the bad and the bad and the good. Understanding there's always balance within this, and it's having a beautiful, loving compromise with yourself, knowing that, like, even though it may seem overbearing or bad, it's good. Or something may seem good, but in retrospect, it can be bad. And to see the sunken treasure behind that, and to jump in deeper with it, to love the fact that you can, or that you have a sudden realization that you can jump in deep, or that you have an awareness to jump in deeper. Some people don't have an awareness to jump in deeper. And I feel as if that's your spontaneity into that, with like self-expression of your freedom. Like, you don't have to let things hold you back from expressing yourself. Talking and expressing yourself is not doing anything wrong. And I had to come to terms with that. It's not that I'm doing anything wrong. I'm not trying to force anything out of anything. I'm allowing myself to express. It's like a different shift of a like self-love. It's very weird. Like, Because some would say, oh, you're giving too much, give it back to yourself. And in a form, that was me giving to myself, allowing myself to be expressive that I like to be, that I am. And so even though it looks off, a little scary, something to be cautious of, it reality was something self-growth, self-love, a like a like opening your wings and flying in a way that it was that. Okay. And for some of you, because of your spiritual home and homing you have found inside of yourself, because of the spiritual homing you found in yourself, that's what's bringing you into a sense of travel. Someone could be coming in and kind of like aiding or helping or kind of like or becoming like come to you in a friend like energy for like truths, granting an energy of justice unto you, a showing of spiritual will, of understanding, of like opening. Like it's almost like they're not doing this for you, they're actually doing it the way you're doing it, just how you didn't do that for them. When you expressed, you did it for you because you knew you needed to release, you knew you needed to face it. And I feel as if the way that, because you did that, it's what's bringing them to be able to be truths in them, because they're doing it for them. And that's giving them their own sense of power, like standing in their power, showing them how they can stand in their power, and like love what it is they feel and that it's okay to express. Very weird. I truthfully don't know what energy like zodiac energy this person is. But they're coming into a lot of channeling of their own essence of truth and light, and really awakening into extreme certainty. And that's what's bringing you certainty at the same time, because they've come into that certainty. It's literally this area in your life gains certainty, and then you literally are like relieved and are given peace at the same time, and it relieves them and allows them to be able to fully step in their peace too. But it looks like a fickle. Some things about it is a fickle. But I feel for you, you're like, I trust it. That was my biggest lesson in all of this before you even received this clarity. You were just like, I just got trust. It's because this has shown me that I had to trust my intuition. This has shown me that my intuition is stronger and more correct than anything my logical mind could make up or bring some kind of bring any kind of clarity. Like the logical mind brought no clarity. Your intuition gave you some confusion, but at the same time, in trust and in patience, it brought you serene clarity. It brought you peace in yourself kind of clarity. And I feel that's why you ended up with a rose. That it's like you opened up into your own silver rose. You see yourself as that silver rose now. You are that silver rose. Okay. Can you see that in the box? It says, I actually bought this with my birthday money just for my cards because it says, follow your heart. Your heart knows. Not get your brain have time. Bring in logic and things don't know crap. All right. Dream seems to be the biggest one that keeps coming up. But y'all got serenity. Like, I see y'all. It's like y'all became your own serenity. That's freaking amazing. You became the person that you always wish you could meet as a friend. Yeah, the person that you always wish you could, that you always thought like wasn't real. Like you achieved being that person. You achieved the dream aspect of what you always wanted to be. And you realize and has opened up that you are already and have always been that person, and you're just kind of perfecting it. You're in this cycle of perfecting being that person. Cycles and cycles and cycles. You have used different faiths, ideas, icons, and totems as guideposts to a higher level of thought to gain a different and better perspective. You have looked to wildlife as spirit guides, teachers, honoring them with art, time spent in nature, and medicine bundles. You have admired birds, the strongest and the smallest. The feathers, or the feathers, that's interesting because I did just talk about the feathers. And on top of that, I just finished my rooster. So that's really freaking cool. And while I was doing that, I was always holding my crystals. I had my crystals. And so that's awesome. With fetishes, feathers, crystals, all have been dreamed over in ceremony, and all have been powerful in your intent. But this power is lost when your dreams get wild and unfocused. You wear two different faces, and I feel as if it's not that you're wearing two different faces, you're seeing your two different faces, and literally creating and combining them as your higher essence of like one without a face, but yet with many aspects of a face. It's almost like a crystal itself. Okay, that's so funny. I always do that when it comes to cards with words. I'm like, okay, I see it this way. When you are unfamiliar with your truth, and you were both of these masked together when you are a greater pretend when you are a great pretender, not understanding the sacred dream reality in which you live. If you were a bird of prey, what would you be? How would you feel? Do you think you would seek to be anything other than the great bird the creator intended you to be? Okay. Serenity. Carry it. DNA. You are already a healer. Okay. Picture this is interesting. Snake around that totem. It's I don't know. I don't know what to think about this one. In divine light, you overflow with love. You carry the sacred arrow that teaches you about the clouds so full of water that the rain comes like raindrops of wisdom into your sea of consciousness. And you begin to learn. The sacred flute carries your prayers of love and all the symbols of treasure people. Whoa. See, this is why I do this. The sacred flute carries your prayers of love and all the symbols of treasured peoples. Okay. It totally has an S there, but I really think it's treasured people. Totally does have an S there, though. And dreams reflected upon you with the light of the great sun. You are a sacred lover full of fragrance, and the wind comes to spread your perfume across the land. You stand before the Great Spirit in a state of grace. Name your darkness, that sad quality that you have held. And as you call in by name, feel it begin to disappear. You hold on to your faith the same way that you grip your arrows of destiny. You are not meant to live in darkness, but in the light of your own integrity. Oh, that's funny. I totally said that to someone one time before. I really think they thought I was putting them down, but at the same time, I was like, kind of trying to lift you up, kind of be aware of that, but okay. Feel it begin to disappear. You hold on to your faith the same way that you grip your arrows of destiny. You are not meant to live in darkness, but in the light of your own integrity. Move with the flow of life and let go of any sadness from your earlier years. Aww. Move with the flow of life and let go of any sadness from your earlier years. Be serene and at ease as the light begins to define you. Because your past don't define you. It helps you to grow. It gives you wisdom, but it don't define you. Your integrity and principalities, because it does say active principles, your truths, and yourself, and your heart, and what it resonates with you, especially within your own calmness with yourself, is what really defines you. The way you handle things now. How you handle your new growth, your aspects of your life. And watering it. That's interesting because you have the receptivity of principle and the active principle. And then integrity in here. That's wild. That's pretty good. All right. Oh, Winged Enchantment. That's right. I was like, oh, pick this up, y'all. And we are at an hour. Dove! I knew this was like a shift into a love perspective. You got Dove, and it's number 8. I love number 8. There's something about that number 8. Yes. It's so beautiful to me. Okay. Number 8. Oh, it's so amazing. Like, flying into, like, love. Not just love with yourself, but, like, beautiful, lightened unity, spiritual home of love with someone else. Freedom expression, freedom of everything. Like it's like such a new sense of pure love that there's no other like way to ever feel again about someone but this way. And it makes it pure. It makes it like the rarest thing to ever have in this world. Almost like the aspects of divine masculine and divine feminine. This to me is like a pure unity of pureness, separated pureness of each other, the oneness without each other, and then literally an empowered upbringing of a unity of two. So yeah. It's so hard for me to find certain words sometimes to express certain things. It's just like okay. I am Dove, the piece of alignment. I am feminine. I am sensitive to my surroundings. I am the nourishment of the earth and the gentleness of her instinct. I am the calm after the storm. I am hope and harvest. I am the embellishment of harmony and the sacrifice necessary to nurture what has been created. Okay. Sometimes I really don't feel that certain sacrifices are all the way necessary. That it's literally, whoa. Okay, a moth side to come in your reading. That it's literally more of an aspect of looking for a balanced compromise in the situation so that sacrifice is really not needed. It's leveling a plane in a way, but still allowing a lot of trees to be there. Having a compromise with the earth and the trees in a way. That's like the only way I can like express it. And this way of seeing has literally opened you up more and grants you more kind of like a new direction of more of a fulfilling direction for you. It's like you are walking through this dry path of kind of like a view of sacrifice, like I either have to sacrifice this or I have to sacrifice this. So I'm just going to sacrifice this and keep walking down this dry path. But through that, it brings you a sense of like understanding of real compromisation with patience and collaboration and not extremes. It, like, and that brings you more of a sense of like knowing there's enough. You don't have to sacrifice. It's just asking for compromise. Like, that's how I feel. I felt that was very important, okay? You are at peace now and brimming with compassion. You are in love with life. I am the enjoyment of family connection. I am the safety of a united community. This is not the time to fly solo, but rather to seek out kindred, kindred spirits. I am the gathering of like minds. I am the coven. I am the serenity of kin. I am group mind and structure. Merge your energies with others and watch what unfolds. This is great power in collaboration. There is profound wisdom within the whole. You are engaging life. You are embracing peace. And you are aligning with others. You are dove. Yeah, that's feel as if like the understanding shift of sacrifice is literally to a sense being thrown out. You're seeing it more as needing of collaboration with compromising in the communication of understanding with compromising and collaboration. But it takes communication to have that compromisation in collaboration. That was awesome. I loved that play in words. All right. So, Capricorns, what a beautiful, amazing reading. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing does greatly help to improve the channel. Liking helps moving the videos along on YouTube. And sharing, you never know who else that's going to see it in your feed. That is really going to be able to help and uplift someone else. So thank y'all so much, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.